Self control is so rare to see these days that many people overlook it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sebastian, and I talk about personal growth and self development here. Today, I'll be talking about self control. Let's get into it. First off, let's talk about how self control has just disappeared in this world. I see a lot of people just act on their thoughts and emotions that many people just don't let it process. They don't process the thoughts and emotions. They never learn how to. It's so rare to see that someone has self-control, and if they do, it's just so rare to see. And many people kind of question it and kind of see it as like out of the ordinary. And I think that not having self-control has been so normalized that people just let themselves be, right? People just act on their emotions and act on their thoughts and they just go ahead and do whatever. And they don't even think to begin if it even affects them negatively or positively. And the thing is, people don't really teach us this stuff. We don't have school that teaches us self-control specifically and, how to deal with all the thoughts and emotions that go on in our head. And it's normal to just, have them. It's just normal to have thoughts. It's normal to have thoughts when they're constantly in your mind and they're constantly bugging you. It's just what you do with the thought that keeps bugging you. Do you act on it, or do you just keep it there and let it be? And when I heard this perspective about self-control, it completely changed the way I look at it. And it made me realize what it kind of really is. So self-control is basically your capacity of how you can handle internal conflict. So let's say your thought is to eat junk food. If you have that reoccurring thought in your head and it just doesn't go away, some people just might want to act on it, right? Since it is in your head, they're thinking like, oh, maybe it's a sign that I'm supposed to do it, right? Sometimes it is, but sometimes in cases like something that doesn't benefit you and you still go ahead and do it, that's not having self control, right? That's not solving your internal conflict. When you have that thought of having junk food, most of the times it's just because you're hungry, right? You can always cook something at home. It's much healthier and over time it saves you money. Having outside food every day is expensive. That's at least $12 each each day. What $10 can get you or 12 is one packet of meat. And that'll serve you for at least 3 days. When people have no self-control, that's because they just go back to where they were comfortable in the first place. When you have these cravings, you just have to let them be, right? You have to make peace with those cravings that keep reoccurring in your mind. And over time, it'll just go away. When I used to eat a lot of fast food, what I did was, over time, I grew tired of it. And I tried to figure out what exactly made me think of, I want fast food. What associates with this thought of fast food? Was it an action or was it a certain time or place that I was at? So let's say whenever someone's stressed and they start smoking, over time, that's going to come into a repeatable action that they do after they're stressed and it's going to become a habit. I want you to really look at what exactly you associate with that action that you do. Let's say smoking or drinking or having fast food. What leads you to having that thought? And whenever you have that thought, you just have to be willing to let those cravings be. Willpower alone will not help your self-control. I've tried this and it was not the way I expected it to be. I might have, I might have done good the first week, but willpower alone just wasn't it. And when I used willpower to have that self-control, it made me kind of block off my feelings. And, however, whatever I was feeling, right? I didn't see it as valid, right? I didn't see my emotions and the way I felt about something as valid, right? I would just ignore it and, focus on having that self-control. And I just want to say that it doesn't work and it'll lead you into a much deeper hole than you were already in. And really just don't block your feelings at all, right? Don't block your thoughts. Don't, push off any sort of way that you feel. When we don't validate ourselves, we lose that self trust and we lose that self control and everything, we work so hard for it to build ourselves. Paying attention to your conflicts is so important when it comes to monitoring them, and the moment you stop monitoring your conflicts, that's the moment you lose. When you keep analyzing your internal conflict, That is self control. Self control is the capacity of being able to handle that internal conflict. That's why some of us just go ahead and do the thought that we were having, or the reoccurring thought that keeps coming. And because we don't really know what to do, we don't know what to do with it. We don't know if to make peace with it. We don't know if to just let it be or just act on it, because we were really never taught this stuff. Nobody really taught us to navigate through our own internal conflicts. And when I heard this perspective of self control, it really just helped me understand it better, and as well as understanding myself better. When I heard that just make peace with your conflicts, it really confused me, because why would I do that? Why would I make peace with something that might not even benefit me? But when I really looked at it differently and, just let it be. I just made peace with it and I let it be, and over time it just went away. Paying attention to your internal conflict is so important when it comes to monitoring them. A lot of the times we don't know how to deal with internal conflicts, so that's when we externalize that internal conflict. The way this happens is basically getting stressed, right? Most of the times it is stress because your body doesn't know how to react, or your mind doesn't know how to react. So when we're stressed, all that energy that we had inside of ourselves is now being externalized. That means that all the focus that we were having on trying to find the root of the problem is now presented, outside of your body, which becomes in a form of stress. And when you lose the actual problem, it becomes hard to find a solution. And we look for ways to solve this external solution. That can be drinking, smoking, fast food, or anything really that doesn't really help your situation. You just have to learn how to regulate your emotions. So it can be taking a walk, listening to music, or doing your favorite hobbies. Just find a way that helps you regulate your emotions. After doing this, you have to put all the attention that you were externalizing back into yourself. Focus all of that energy and try to find the root of the problem, right? Think of, what is really causing me to feel this way? What am I really craving? And whenever you find what you're really craving, what is the root? Find the root of the problem inside of yourself and just sit with it and just let it be. A problem that I had when, doing this was that I think that I needed to fix everything, right? That's basically how I am. I feel like I need to just do everything all at once. And I kind of learned that the hard way, that it doesn't really work like that, because all the effort that we're putting into different parts of a situation, it can completely slow down the progress that you have made or you can make. So try to put all of the attention into one single problem. Find one single step that you can do. Whenever you feel like you can't do something, think of what you can do instead of what you can't. So if you can make probably one step, but you can't do two, take that one step. But if you find out you can take a third step, take that third step. And the way to fix this is to just check in on yourself. You have to ask what you're really thinking, and you have to ask yourself, how do I feel? How do I feel about the situation? What are my thoughts? And I promise that it'll get you farther than, acting on your impulses or acting on your thoughts. And the more you practice this, the easier it's going to become over time. And that concludes this episode. Thank you so much for watching. And if you found my video helpful, please comment and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.